Good morning, warriors. Welcome to another edition of Morning Talk. I know I'm in my car, but I'm going to stay here. I promised some of viewers I would not be in the car while the car was driving, so I'm going to just kind of do the one in here this morning. We have some snow on the ground, and I'm kind of doing a bunch of different things, so I figured I'd do our morning talk. This is for January 17th, the Martin Luther King birthday. January 17th, 2022. And welcome, warriors. I hope everybody's doing well in Warriorville, keeping in the purpose, keeping on their plans and goals and things you're trying to achieve. Never give up on those things. Always keep those goals in mind. Keep looking at them. Keep visualizing them. Keep seeing those. And never give up. We're in a very turbulent time. Things are happening all the time. Change is always occurring. We need to kind of stay steadfast and true. And it's important to kind of look at that, because I think that a lot of times we don't always realize that sometimes when we have troubles, this is not a bad thing. This is actually a good thing. So we'll get into that more as we talk about this. But the idea that, I appreciate all the comments. I want to kind of give out some shout outs before we do that. Once again, please subscribe, like, comment, donate. Great comments from people who, and this is what I guess makes it worthwhile for me, that I hear people that are needing this information, and this is why I do this all this, my friends. I think warriors, we want to kind of protect each other and help each other if we can. So, Alberto, thank you for the comments. Matt, Blue Blaze, Cole, Carner, Aquino, Felipe, Estachara, you guys are wonderful. I'm glad that it's really making a difference, and I appreciate that. I think that's the main thing for me, is to try to get across that, life can change, and life doesn't have to be a certain way. And so I think that sometimes we forget that, and we kind of get caught up into the moment of what things are in society telling us, and the fears and anxieties people have with those type of things. So let's go ahead and talk today about problems and challenges and struggles, and why this is an important type of thing, and why we have to kind of leave things behind us, which is really important. And the Bible talks about this in a lot of ways, but we see this a lot nowadays as well. People, you cannot be attached to things. This is a key quality I've learned over time. You cannot be attached to things around you. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're going ahead and making your life attached around money, for instance, or about your car, or your house, and things like that, you're always going to be let down eventually, because of materialistic things come and go. And you can't, like they always say, you can't take it with you. And that what they really mean by that is you can't really go ahead and kind of take things with you that are material. Everything is made of energy. Eventually it will go away. No matter what it is, it eventually will go away. Now, some things take longer to dissolve and dissipate and destroy themselves, but eventually everything goes away. And so this is why this is things that you have around you, no matter what it is, will not be there forever, including ourselves. And so that's why we have to kind of make sure that we're looking at the internal things that are important. And like I've always said, as I'm going through this journey, 580 some days and over 110 days of monk mode, it is important that I've come to realize that I appreciate all these other things a lot more. And you're grateful for these things, but you don't need those things. And I think that's a big difference when it comes to something like retention. You realize that life looks different because of retention. And as people have talked about all the time, you need to be able to kind of separate the inside things that are really important as compared to the outside things. Faith is very important, for instance. And I think that's the key type of thing. You got to have some belief in something other than the material things you're looking at. This is why people get caught up in porn and all these other types of things, because they get caught up so much into the materialistic things they see. They don't really realize there's a world around us that we don't see, that's more of a spiritual environment, a variety. And that's why when you look at things, you have to kind of say, okay, what is it do I see, but what's really happening here? And that's discerning. It takes time. And sometimes you're given a strong gift with that. Sometimes you have to kind of work at that to really get that. But there's so many cases that we talk about, people talking about, well, you need to, to be successful, you got to do this and this and that. Well, success really does not come down to material things, because they come and go. You look at people that I grew up with, that were so-called big celebrities and stars back in the 50s and 60s. And, except for maybe a couple of examples, people don't even remember who these people are. By the time we get to 2020, lots of people don't remember who those people are. I could say the same thing about the big stars of the 1920s, 1900. Well, 1920s, when it comes to movies, we're just starting out, silent movies, things like that. But because what happens is that, and there's a famous quote in the Bible, says that this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Because what happens is that we don't realize that everything is in transitional type mode. We're here right now, but we won't be here in a number of years. We'll be gone. But the thing is, how do we live that life? Are we have a life of indulgence, and are we just looking for ourselves, or we're trying to help other people out and trying to control ourselves so we can kind of make this a better world? This is why, Jesus always said, follow me, drop everything you have. And this is for people who are rich, who have a lot of things, not only just money, but things. It's a very difficult thing, because they don't realize that they have to kind of give up something that's made their identity. And that's a hard thing to do. And a lot of people talk about that. This is why troubles and things that we have are not such a bad thing, because you try to be grateful. And this is really important. We talk about a lot of people in society, and I saw this a few times even over the weekend in sporting events and things, where you get people who are very spoiled. They feel they deserve things. And the trouble with all that is they've not experienced that sort of setback, or someone saying no, that they have to kind of deal with it and learn how to fight in the battle. And that's why this becomes a battle. So you can kind of talk about the fact, oh, well, these people had so great and so wonderful. But is it so wonderful? A lot of times they're putting themselves in their own cage, because they make so much money. Now they have to continue working at that level to keep that standard of living. Once again, accumulation of things. And this fits right into the retention thing we're always talking about. People accumulate, whether it's people around them, or it's pictures or images or things like that, or they get deeper into things. All of a sudden now they have to have more material things. All this is based on material things. And so as you look at trying to overcome this, you have to realize that it's important to know that, okay, I don't need this. And the more you get away from material things, the more you're going to get away from, pornography and images and things like that, because you don't need those things. And all you're focusing is on your internal growth, internal spirituality, and having yourself get along more with the Creator. Like I said, my, Redeemer is Jesus Christ, and I focus on that. But I'm very open to all areas, all religions that we talk about, because I think there's a lot of commonality with the Creator in many of those things. And so this is why I think it's important. I think anybody that has a religion that really talks about the fact that they're not God, I think is on the right track. I think that the whole idea that you sit there and say, okay, I'm this, I was created. I'm not the one the world revolves around. Once you start thinking the world revolves around you, and you have this kind of spoiled mentality, you feel like that the world owes you living. And I ran into people like that over the years. And I think what you have to do is go ahead and say, okay, I am not that important in this world. That's a hard thing for people. Their egos are the biggest issue they have. I think this is where Satan plays with a lot of people's minds, is through their ego. And being able to kind of direct them, because they know their ego is very strong, and they get tempted by that and succumb by that. But the bottom line really is that your ego is only hurting you more than it's helping you. But if you realize you're not that important, and you realize that you're able to go ahead and control these behaviors because someone is helping you, and you have that faith, and you have to have that faith, If you give up everything, you have to have the faith that God is going to help you find the way. And this is what we talk about retention. We're talking about giving up something that most people in the society now have normalized, and saying, okay, this is great. Go ahead and have sex anytime you want to. Go ahead and watch these pictures, watch these movies, and it's all wonderful and great. This is what a man should be doing, or women should be doing with men, right? But the thing is that's not the way it is. But we've been normalized this because people, I think, have agendas in society. They want to control people this way, and we've been good test projects for a long time. But I think people are waking up. This 1% Club is certainly waking up when it comes to retention. And I think the whole thing is that we have to realize that we do not need those physical things. And so when you watch television, I don't watch very much television. I may watch an American football game here and there I watched over the weekend. But the thing is that all you're seeing is a combination of sex, violence, and all these temptations that people want to have. And so this is what people want you to buy products and do different things, and so they're trying to make it very appealing to you. And I think this is where the danger is, that we have to watch out in our brains, realizing it's the internal forces that are important, the spiritual type of thing, not the external types of things. And I think that's something that really makes a big difference when it comes to your success and happiness. And so as we look at this today, it's important to realize that don't get caught up with temptations and money and the things that you think are the most important. Yes, of course, we need enough money to live, but here again, if you have faith, faith your Creator is going to give you that money or help you find ways to get that money, then you're going to be fine. You're going to have just what you need to have. Now, once again, the ego plays into this, and once again, you're looking at other people saying, oh, they have more money than me and this kind of thing, but that's not always a good thing. And what you really want to do is you want to be able to say, okay, I earned this money. I didn't just get this money through, one easy way or another. Because you appreciate it a lot more and you value it a lot more because you worked for it. And I think you earned it, and now you realize that. People who get a lot of money other ways may not always earn it, and they don't feel very strong about it. Okay? So once again, thank you guys for all these comments today. Beautiful. I'm glad things are helping a little bit. And certainly throw topics different ways. I think I'm going to do another one on 10 Commandments sometime this week, and maybe focus on another person. And once we get a little better weather, I think I'm going to focus on trying to do a live stream. Kind of caught up with a bunch of different things right now. So you guys have a great day. This is January 17th, 2022. Have a wonderful, some of you have a holiday today, so have a great holiday, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Battle on.